Teddie is a character that plays very differently from most others. He's an item character. His game plan is based off a set of rotating items that you can throw out with certain attacks. These items range from combo starters to combo extenders to status effect inflictors to mix-up enablers. If you're ready to memorize the table and maximize item usage in real time, you can be really scary with this character. The item system in conjunction with Teddie's attacks gives you a ton of options to work with at all ranges, allowing you to exploit a lot of matchups and tilt the odds towards your favor. The items effectively add over a dozen additional attacks to your game that opponents simply won't have complete knowledge of. The scramble situations that you can force will cause the opponent to be completely overwhelmed with things to think about. But of course, since you're the Teddie player taking initiative, you'll feel right at home. And additionally, by throwing items off screen, you can perform setups that they won't even be able to recognize until it's too late for them to react. And once you get really good with your item tables, you'll easily crack open opponents' guards and get them into the corner where your higher damage routes can secure the round. Generally though, Teddie's combo damage is a bit lacking, but this is supplemented a bit by stray item hits and status inflictions that enable more combo opportunities over the course of a match. Touching again on the chaotic nature of playing Teddie, sometimes items are pretty unpredictable and can lead to very inconsistent combo routes, but don't worry, even the best players with Teddie will make mistakes. But perhaps the biggest negative is probably the drawback of having some of the character's utility locked behind a rotating set of items. There may be times where you want to back up, reset, zone a bit, but your next string of items might not be conducive to executing that game plan at the very moment, which can possibly force you into a bad decision within the flow of a match. But that's what you sign up for when you play a character like Teddie. On to the brief attack overview. As always, check out dustloop.com for more fully detailed information. Teddie's basic normals are designed to outplay the opponent's options in neutral. They're not fast enough to outspeed, but they have some of the best range of all the basic attacks in the game, which is pretty great for neutral blowups, but also doubles as easy confirmation off of stray item hits. Your jumping attacks don't have the overhead property, but they're really good at left-right mix-ups. For the persona normals, the C attacks send out your persona for directional body slam attacks. In the mid screen, you can try and keep out with jumping C as it is very active and can convert into full combos, while in the corner, this button with proper spacing can safely catch opponents too eager to try to escape. The C attacks aren't too fast, but because they control a lot of space and can fish for counter hits, they're still pretty useful. Your D normals are how you send out your items. You can send out 1 to 3 items by either pressing D again while the persona is out, or holding it from the start to send out 2 initially and then press it again for the third. You can vary the timing of the second item toss and even throw it during a combo to set up the next pressure sequence. The items all do different things and I'm not going to cover it super extensively. You'll gain a deeper understanding as you encounter various situations with them. Starting out, you really only need to note which items persist if Teddie gets hit and which disappear so you can play around your item tosses effectively. Very important for you to know that the crouching D and standing D item list operate independently. Many players open up pressure with crouching D for the firecracker and dry ice, and standing D's items list starts at items good for knockdown pressure. Green rocket, soda, red rocket, curry. Additionally, there are many ways to launch items at your opponent to force status effects. Teddie doesn't have the best Furious action, but it does inflict rage, which is a cool status infliction that benefits from how easily you can move around the screen with good air buttons. And screen controlling items also become much more powerful because the opponent can't block. For special attacks, Teddie has Bear Screw, Puppet Teddie, Teddie Vision, which can be used as a teleport, and 2D Teddie. The special moves can be used in neutral, but your basic attacks combined with smart movement will be enough to get your pressure started and open the opponent up. You can toss these moves out sometimes, but their primary usage will be to extend combos, as well as to enable combo and pressure resets that will supplement your low combo damage. Enhanced Bear Screw is kind of a standout though because it's positive on block, so if you're in a situation where you know it will hit, you can use it to steal your turn back. For the super moves, Mystery Teddie is in my opinion kind of a higher level super to use. It takes a lot of experience to have the knowledge of the super specific item setups, but you can still use it to generally cause chaos on the screen if you have the meter to burn. Items such as Oral Drum and Keys are very difficult to defend against, especially if there are even more items on the screen. When you got upwards of 5 items on the screen at a time, the opponent is bound to get hit by one of them. Tomahawk Super should be your main focus starting out because it enables insane corner carry during combos, as well as increases your total damage output. And during Awakening, Nihil Hand can really cash out for higher damage to secure a round. Circus Bear can be pretty devastating if set up properly. It's an unblockable super that does tremendous damage, but it's pretty easy to just jump over, so you want to restrict the opponent's mobility with some items to get the hit. Oil Drum, Scooter Keys, and Smart Bomb are all good items to have on the screen that help you to restrict that space from them. Combo time. So again, Teddie doesn't do a lot of damage off of combos. He does slightly more in the corner, but still kind of underwhelming. You want to prioritize ending combos with setups that make landing the next combo easier, and Teddie has a bunch of tricky options even without having an aerial overhead. Starting out, just your simple auto combo string into sweep. After that, you can vary your jumping follow-up timing to get a somewhat ambiguous cross-up jump in attack. Jumping A and jumping B don't hit overhead, so this is how we get that basic pressure on knockdown, with the left-right mix-ups. Alternatively, you can get out some item tosses easily by instead routing into Bear Claw and then batting them away with standing B. Now, a very common occurrence you'll run into is either hitting an anti-air crouch B or an air-to-air jumping A situation. I say, take the low damage route and lead into your item setups off of the jumping B. You can either cancel straight into item toss or you can delay to bounce backwards and toss the item. This will depend on what you're tossing out. Sometimes you'll want to run the pressure off the item immediately, but if it's one of those setup items, you might want to get a little bit of distance first and then throw it out. Here's a basic corner confirm before you level up later on. There's much more advanced stuff in the corner that you can learn as you go, but we want to focus on reliability starting out, so we'll keep it as simple as possible. By simplifying our combo structures, it's much easier for you to focus on Teddie's greatest strength, making conversions off of chaotic item situations. Trying to confirm into higher damage combos that depend a bit more on specific spacing is a bit unnecessarily overwhelming, so let's try to avoid that as much as possible. With this combo, you can follow up the jump B with an item toss or a directional drop for raw pressure afterwards. And once you've got that down, you can get a bit more damage with this follow-up from the corner routing. When it's time to cash out for damage, things get a bit more complicated and Teddie's routes are really free form. You could watch a bunch of Teddie players and you'll see different combos into super all the time. So to start out, here's a basic combo route using super that should be easy enough to confirm off of grounded hits while finishing off with the corner route you just learned. And once you got all this down, I strongly suggest that you check out more combos to learn to give you more ways to combo into super, and also to be able to confirm off of as many stray item hits as possible. I'm going to point you in the direction of Tomahawk Super Confirm, so once you've got a few of those in your bag, you should be good. Alright, getting in with Teddie isn't very difficult. His super jump and strong air mobility allow him to fly over opponents and let items go in for the hit. Your access to items gives you a handful of low risk space closers by forcing the opponent into blocking or dodging the items, allowing you to take initiative. And you'll want to be doing that more often than not since Teddie is a bit weaker defensively. So make them feel the pressure. Floor is lava. Condition them to get into the air and they'll serve you up crouching B anti-air opportunities for free. Against zoners, you have Teddie Vision, which can be an easy engagement tool to sidestep the zoning puzzle. Both teleports allow you to get forward momentum and hold block unless they hit you immediately out of the TV. And sometimes you don't even have to actually teleport, just the threat alone is enough to give you the break in zoning pressure that you need to get rolling. You'll be spending a lot of time in the air because even though Teddie's jumping attacks are on overheads, they're still so good and will either get you easy confirms or instant pressure strings, because it's easy to hit at angles that are hard for the opponent's anti-air while still being good in air-to-air situations, which simplifies the air dash neutral game a lot. There are a ton of matchups where getting to the mid-range will be very advantageous for you with your bat swing. Mid-range turns into pressure 90% of the time just by smacking them in the face and forcing your way in, or item toss and getting in with less risk. And ultimately, you want to get them to the corner where your damage potential explodes to secure rounds. So open them up and route into those favorable knockdown situations with item tosses to rinse and repeat until you've got them to the wall. You might struggle with getting those hits starting out since Teddie is a bit different in terms of frame data, but a lot of the pressure you're going to put down with this character is kind of frame and space trappy. You really want to make the opponent feel locked down to the point where they want to mash back, which is where you outspace their pokes with your stand A, or catch them trying to walk back out of pressure with crouching A, as well as baiting grabs to blow them up completely. Jump canceling off the second hit of your auto combo is where a lot of your pressure continuation will come from. You can get into a jump B with a left to right follow up, backwards air dash to disengage, continue with the raw jump to re-engage, or even all out attack, which crosses up depending on how close you are to the opponent and is your only overhead hitting attack. And of course, item tosses are where you can get some seriously tricky left or right mix-ups that are almost guaranteed to land you some hits. And on the topic of items, you will quickly find the items that you perform best with. It might be oral drum, it might be buckets, whatever it is. You don't have to remember the entire item list verbatim, but try to remember general placements. And remember that you can get there faster with the item super with less risk than trying to hold your D attacks for double or triple items. With time and experience, you'll get better and better with each item the more that you see it, and eventually you'll be proficient at converting hits off of anything. Remember, Teddie thrives off of chaos, so try to muck up the game as much as possible while still being in control. I hope this guide was helpful for you. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.